Yay! We're celebrating our 100th live Facebook show. So I'm so happy that you're here to celebrate with me because we have some cool things that we're going to have as giveaways, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So if you are with us live, say hi. So I know that you are live, and I'm just going to check here. We have so much to be thankful for. And one of the things I think that we can be thankful for is technology, because technology can bring us closer. Technology can also help our kids in lots of ways, right? So Lissa's here. Hey, Lissa. And Angela. And I've got this one box that's like preventing me from seeing everybody. And Terry says hi. And Kimberly says, I found your live videos and replays so helpful over the past few months. Hello. So, Kimberly, I'm so glad that you're here with us. Yeah, so it's going to be exciting. And I want to, we're going to be doing some celebrating today. And I thought, I wonder what you guys do when you want to celebrate. So let me look over here and change this, because I know that we're doing our 100th Facebook Live show today. And I wonder, what do you do when you like to celebrate milestones? Is it with a fancy dessert and flowers, or maybe some fine champagne with a friend, or going out to dinner with friends? Maybe taking that shopping trip to celebrate some big milestone. Well, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having giveaways for our celebration today. And I will tell you more about the giveaways in just a minute. But first, I wanted to kind of go back down memory lane for a minute and say that it was like 2 years, 7 months, and 3 days ago that I did my first Facebook Live show. And I don't know about you, but I get stage fright or camera fright before I have to go live. And even though I've been doing shows now for a couple years, it still is like a scary, anxiety-provoking situation. So I don't know, what makes you anxious? I know for some parents, it's like the night before an IEP meeting, or when you're in the parking lot and you're trying to calm yourself down before you go to an IEP meeting. But share with us what you sometimes get anxious about. And I think that, sometimes we just have to do things even though we're scared, right? So that's kind of where I've been. I remember when I first started doing Facebook shows, it was like this huge learning curve for technology. So it was like not only learning, like how to work the camera and all those kinds of things, but also just like, how do I present the show to people? And back then, and I still kind of do, I used a lot of, no, I don't know why that's doing that. I used a lot more slides than I would appearing live on camera. And I think part of this is because I believe it's really important for there to be more visuals with our shows instead of, just a talking head. And part of it is I'm more comfortable if I'm not the one on camera. So you may notice that we kind of rely on having these kind of slideshows with us. But I did want to tell you about the giveaways. And let me show you here. If you type the numeral 100 in the comments, then you will have one entry into these cool giveaways. And stay tuned, because later in the show, I'm going to tell you about how you can even get more entries. Okay, so let's look first at what some of the giveaways are. The big giveaway, at least I see it as a big giveaway, is to have a free 100-minute phone consultation with me. I thought, we're celebrating our 100th Facebook Live show. We should be celebrating other ways where we can bring in that number 100. So we're going to have a 100-minute free consultation. I also have 10 of my Art of the Advocacy books, and it's like always hard to know how to show this on camera. But this is a book I wrote a couple years ago, and I've had wonderful feedback from folks. If you have a copy of my book, let me know in the comments, and that would be cool. So if you are a winner of this book and you already happen to have a copy, this is a great gift that you can give to your girlfriend. So 10 of these books will be given away. The other fun thing I have you seen these before? So this is the Iep Prep Cup. So a lot of times, right, it takes like caffeine to get ready for that IEP meeting. And then after the IEP meeting, you might need this glass with your favorite adult beverage. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it says IEP Recovery. So you might be the lucky winner of this mug and this adult beverage glass by entering. So just type in the number 100 in the comments, and we shall get going here. So I don't see, I'm hoping, okay, good. I was going to say, I'm hoping that you're hearing me, because I've been messing with my microphone. So Robin says, anxiety for me is when I'm walking into the meeting to fight for my child and knowing the team refuses to listen and makes excuses and come up with their own ideas instead of listening to me. It's very frustrating. I had to call for an emergency meeting because things were not being followed, and I don't know how to get them to listen. Well, Robin, I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you're one of the winners of the Art of Advocacy book, because I think there's a science of advocacy where you know your rights and you know what's supposed to be in the IEP. And then to me, the art of advocacy is asking those clarifying questions, asking probing questions, asking questions and pausing and waiting to hear their answer, different things like that. So this book, I think, would be an excellent book for you, Robin. So let's cross our fingers and hope that you get a copy of that. And Terry says, yes, that she has my book. And Lissa says, yes, I have a copy and I've read your book. It's awesome. Yeah, and Robin says, oh, I'd love to one of your books. So yes. I haven't read your book yet, so Angela. And I think what we're going to do is, today is go ahead and give one book away. And then the other 10 books we will give away a little bit later, and I'll tell you about that. So, and Terry says she loves the recovery glass. I know, isn't that cute? And Kimberly said that she saw those cups in the background and thought they were so appropriate. I know. So what you're going to do, like I said, is just type in the number 100 and my bot should give you a message. You will be entered, and in a few minutes, I'll tell you about other ways that you can get entered too. So one of the things I did when I was looking back at, this 100th day show, was looking at, the different shows that I've done. And I don't know, for some reason, it looks like my PowerPoint has gone away. So let me see. I need to see how I can share that. The one thing you can count on is there's always going to be some tech glitch, right? Just kind of like when you think about IEP meetings, you know there's going to be one little thing that, might not go the way that you want it to go, right? So let's look here. But anyway, so when I was looking on my YouTube channel, what I noticed is that a lot of my videos deal with strengths and gifts that your child has, and also the need for inclusion and breaking down those barriers. So over the couple years that I've done these Facebook Live shows, I think the passion that I have for recognizing that each and every child has gifts to contribute, and my passion for inclusion, that we want every child to feel welcome, to belong, to be learning next to their friends in the classroom. So when I look back at the first Facebook Live show, that was one of the things that was really important, is talking about our kids' strengths. Now, I did say there are ways to get more prizes. What we're going to do is tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday, I'm going to have some special Facebook posts. And when you answer the question, you'll get more entries. If you're one of the first 5 to enter, you get 5 more entries. If you are after the 5th person, you will still get another entry. And we will announce the winners on Sunday. So the other thing I look at when, I was not only looking at, the couple years that I've been doing Facebook Lives for families, but also 40 some years ago when I was a special ed teacher, I just had this sense that it was really important for parents to know what their kids can do. I know that in so many IEP meetings, we want to, show that a child is eligible, and we talk about their weaknesses. We share low test scores and how the gap is so wide, and all of this kind of negative bombarding that really hinders the parent from being able to hear anything else that's said at the meeting. So when I was a young special ed teacher, fresh out of college, what I chose to do was to make a list of each child's gifts, each child's strengths, what they could do on the tests that I gave them. And I started the meeting going over that list. And I made sure when the parents left, not only did they have a copy of the new IEP, but they had a copy of what their kids could do well, because I wanted them to leave and be able to go home and talk to their kids and say, look at this, look at all the neat things that your teachers are seeing that you're doing. And then about 27 years ago, when our son Dylan had his first IEP meeting at age 3, I made sure as a family that we sat down and made a list of Dylan's gifts. And I still have this original, you can tell, like on an old computer, it will be hard for you to see, but I made sure when we went to his IEP meetings that we always shared his strengths, and we would go around the table and each person would talk about some of the strengths that they saw Dylan have. So that's always been my passion, and it will continue to be my passion. And as an advocate for families, I want to help you learn how to even be a more effective advocate, so teachers will not only look at your child's strengths, but look at how they can build on them in the classroom. So that's like my big purpose in life, I think. I've been doing advocacy for a number of years, but I also want to make sure that parents have a way that they can get free information from me. So one of the things that I do, and let me see here, is a variety of things. And I think it all centers around supporting you as a parent, because I know that you are that parent that won't ever stop speaking up and out for your child. So if that resonates with you, let me know in the comments. I know that you're that parent that knows inclusion is a right, not a privilege for a select few. I know that you're that parent that wants their child to be safe, happy, and learning every day at school beside their friends. And I know you're that parent that believes in your heart that you know learners need not fulfill any prerequisites to participate in inclusive education. So these have been kind of like the center stone for me as far as values that drive what I do. And like I said, I do, parents do hire me from around the country, and I help them advocate for their children. But I do want to make sure that you know that I also have a lot of free resources. And one of them is this weekly Facebook Live show. So every Thursday at noon Mountain Time, we are here talking about a variety of topics. I also have weekly blog posts. And what we do in the blog posts is I wasn't showing that. So in the weekly blog posts, for some reason that's a tongue twister. What we do is I look back at the video that we just did Thursdays, and I look at the key takeaways and I list those in the blog post plus the timestamp, so it's like real fast and easy to find that place in the video if you want to rewatch it. I give inspirational quotations from our weekly show in the blog post, and also additional resources on that topic. So if you'd like to sign up for my weekly blog post, just let me know in the comments and we can get you on that email list. And the other kinds of free things that I offer are my videos on the YouTube channel. And this is really helpful because on the YouTube channel, it has all the videos that I've done, and they're categorized in playlists, so it's easy to find. So my videos stay up on Facebook, and you can watch them again for replays. But when it's been, months have gone by and it's like hard to scroll through my Facebook and find all the videos, it's easy if you just go to my YouTube channel. So another freebie that you can get is I also take the audio from all our Facebook Lives and I put it into a podcast, just the audio. So if you're on the go, that would be an easy way to listen to the audio. So not only do I know that our kids learn in different ways, I know as adults we learn in different ways. So I try to do, the Facebook Lives, which is more interactive. Then you can watch it again as a replay on my YouTube channel. I write a blog post about the show. So if you're more of a person that likes to sit down and read things, you can get the blog post. If you're more of an auditory learner and you want to listen to a podcast while you're folding laundry or driving the kids around, you also have the podcast available. So I try to make sure that we look at different ways that we can give people all the information. The other thing is I have a website that you can go to, which is www.cspeda.com, and it's got a lot of free resources on it. So even though, it might be like, you might not be able to necessarily hire me as an advocate for your child, but there are free things that you can tap into. So I'm going to pause here because I've been doing all the talking and it's more fun when you guys can talk too. So let me know what. I think the other thing that would be helpful for me is to know what kinds of topics that you're interested in. And Robin has a question here. So thanks, Robin. She says, in case I don't win, are we able to purchase one? Yes. So my Art of Advocacy book is on Amazon, and you can buy a Kindle version or the paperback version there. And Vanessa says, where can I purchase it? So yeah, you can go on Amazon. And Lisa is saying, yeah, the beginning of IEP meetings is definitely deficit-based. And Carolyn is saying that she started doing this, starting the meeting, talking about positive and strengths and how it's changed the entire mood of the meeting. And it does. It's like so cool. I just love it. And Diana says, never give up on inclusion. Exactly. It's like, this is something that we always have to be helping others learn about the benefits of inclusion, and that kids don't have to be at the same level of achievement in order for them to be successfully included in general-ed classrooms. And so Robin says, that's definitely me. I will never stop being an advocate for my kids. And Carolyn says, thank you. Raylene wants to sign up for the blog. Cool. So Raylene, what you could do is just send me a private message with your email address, and I'll put you in our group that gets those. And Diana says that she loves a podcast. Yeah. So after the show, I'll come back and I'll give you like the link for the SoundCloud podcasts, and you can subscribe to those. And then every time there's a new one posted, you'll get notification. Diana says one of the things that she's interested in is how to modify material so child can participate in general ed. Teachers need help, especially in secondary grades. And I think that's really true, Diana. I think so many times elementary teachers, and maybe this is a bias because I was an elementary teacher, but I think elementary teachers look at kids more and see themselves as a teacher of students, versus when you get to middle school and high school, a lot of times it's, I teach math, I teach, U.S. history, and they're more focused on the subject. And so it can be, I don't know, kind of a challenge. I know when my son was in middle school, the teachers really had no experience, including a student with Down syndrome, where there was, a big difference between where Dylan was, achieving or where the other kids were. But what we would do is when Dylan would bring home like a worksheet that he did at class or a homework assignment, my husband and I would sit down and redo it. We would like modify the worksheet and send that back in to the staff. And eventually, after a month or so of us giving concrete ideas about how to modify the work, the teachers and the paraeducator were like, oh, now we know what you mean. Okay, we'll come up with this. So the other thing, Diana, I can do in the links when after the show is over, I can give you some specific links to the videos that we've done about modifying curriculum. And I don't know, I was looking to see if I had this one book here. It must be in my library. But Nicole Eriks from the Inclusive Class, she's been on my show a couple times, and she's got an excellent book called Inclusion in Action, and it gives really specific ideas of this is what the activity looked like for the class. This is that same activity, but look how we modified it. So I think you'll really like that book too. So I don't know. It says it looks like the higher the advocacy, more retaliation takes place. And, I think it can happen. I remember when I was teaching and my son was my son was just going to be, transitioning to preschool. And I was a teacher in the same district. And I was a teacher in the building where the special ed preschool class was. So the district's intention was that Dylan would go to preschool and this special ed preschool class, like all the other kids do, right? Well, my husband and I really felt like if we wanted Dylan to be included in school, we needed to start at preschool advocating for inclusion. Lots of meetings, no results. So we filed for a due process hearing. And I was like, wow, I wonder what my evaluation is going to look like, because my principal is the person that I'm having all these meetings with. He's part of the IEP team where we can't come to any kind of resolution. And I was like, wow, I wonder what my next year evaluation is going to be. But, it didn't, luckily he was an objective person and kind of put that aside. But retaliation can happen, and you want to, depending on the situation, I'm usually the type of person that I will just call things out. And so there's, ways that you can do that are, more positive and productive. And that's one of the things that's in my book that I really like a lot is there's a model in here, a template for how to write an email that gets your point across. But again, it's objective, non-judgmental, but it's real direct. And it also helps that paper trail when you feel like you're being retaliated. So that would be a neat thing for you to look at. So Kimberly said that the type of modifications that you just described, I feel I'm just cracking the ice on with my son who is in first grade and has Down syndrome as his attribute. And it's, like the other day I was observing a kindergartner, and he is like the cutest little kid, right? But also the teachers have expectations for him to learn, which I love, right? I don't want, my son, your son, Kimberly, or anybody's cute little kid with Down syndrome to be kind of like this mascot of the class. It's like, no, they're a student like everybody else, and we expect them to be learning like everybody else. And one of the things that I observed there was they were doing handwriting, and they use Handwriting Without Tears, which is an excellent handwriting program. And the OT had brought in a slant board for the student, so that was really good. He had a chair where he was really stable. His feet were, on the floor, so that's really important for handwriting. But one of the things that I noticed is, the para did like highlight the letters that they were tracing in yellow, and then the student would trace over it, which is a really good technique too. But when we were at the meeting the other day, I was suggesting, maybe we should start out with him doing like more big muscle things and tracing a big P like on his slant board, which is also a dry erase board. and then go to the handwriting book. But one of the other simple little tricks that you can do is, like, so many times worksheets are like so filled with stuff, there's hardly any white space and it can be overwhelming. So I had suggested that we really figure out how many letters we want him to trace, because he's really not going to do the whole page. And just take a sheet of paper and mask, just put it down to cover up the other rows. So he knows he's got this one row to do, and then he's done with the handwriting book. And then I was saying, what about some sensory things like wiki sticks or things like that he could form the letter in after he did his book? So we'd have a sequence of large muscle, doing some book, tracing and writing in the book like the other kids, and then doing some sensory things. And one of the responses that I got was, well, we want him doing what the other kids are doing. And it's like, yeah, and I do too. But that's where the accommodations come in, and that's where we tweak things. So, and my guess is there's some other kids in that room, because I saw other kids that could benefit from multisensory things when doing handwriting. So I'm hoping that when teachers learn about modifications, when they learn about accommodations, that then these will be offered and available for all students, not just that student on an IEP. So Diana says, I did give the teacher Nicole's book. Cool. She says, I think they've been too busy gathering data for last week's IEP. They are now getting started on modifying the content. So cool. Yeah, that book will be an excellent resource for them. So that's great. And then we have a question that says, can an elementary special ed teacher be promoted to a high school special ed teacher without added credentials and can educate all subjects aligned contents? So this is an interesting question, because a few years ago, we had the term or the phrase highly qualified teacher. And so in secondary, special ed teachers weren't usually highly qualified in subject matters like math or science or history, right? Most of them just had a credential in special education. And so what we found is it really kind of worked to our advantage because then special ed teachers started co-teaching at the middle school and high school level with those certified subject people, right? Like my husband was a special ed teacher in a high school, and he co-taught with science teachers. So he didn't have a science degree, but by co-teaching, the teacher knew that content science. My husband, as a special ed teacher, knew about accommodations and, making universal design for learning principles happen in the classroom. So it was like this perfect marriage. Now, just recently, when we've gotten the reauthorization, it used to be Leave No Child Behind. Now it's Every Child Succeeds. And they took out that phrase of highly qualified teacher. And so now when IDEA says we're going to align with Every Student Succeeds, guess what? There's no more highly qualified teacher. So things have changed. As far as an elementary teacher, being promoted to be a secondary teacher, it depends on their certification and the state that you live in. In Colorado, where I was teaching, my teaching certificate went from K to 12. And so I could, if, I had chosen to, I could have gone to middle school or high school and been a special ed teacher there. So it depends on your state. And if you want to tell me where you live, then I can help you look that up. So she says, thanks for your detailed replies. Yes. And Kathy is saying, what's the easiest way to ease into the co-teaching model in an elementary school? And this is a great question. And Kathy, I don't know if you saw the interview I did this summer with Paula Cluth and Julie Costin. It was probably one of my favorites. but they talk about the co-teaching model. And again, I've got like some books in here and some not. But they have an excellent book about co-teaching and 30 days. And like when I first read the title, it was like, yeah, come on, that's not going to happen. But they are so good. Paula Cluth and Julie Costin have worked in so many schools, so many districts throughout the country that they have this figured out. So that would be something that I would look at, is that co-teaching book. The other thing is, if you have kind of like permission from the principal, or if the principal is embracing the concept of co-teaching, that is going to be really important, because the principal really sets the tone and the culture in the building. And so if the principal is in support of it, chances are it's going to fly better. The other thing I think is, planning time is a big issue, but Julie and Paula in their book talk about having really focused, real short, like, 5, 10, 15-minute planning meetings, which again, when I was first reading it, was like, what? How can you do so much in that few amount of minutes? But it's like really kind of amazing how, when you are focused, sometimes they're called standing meetings because you actually stand up when you have the meeting, and people get tired of standing up, and so they want to get really focused and down to business. So there's some little tips like that that really can help with co-teaching. But I think it's really the way. Co-teaching, multiple intelligences, universal design for learning. I think when we have all three of those components together, our kids, and every kid that has traditionally been marginalized, can be really successful in general ed classes. And then, of course, we know that there's so much research that shows it not only benefits the child with a disability, but it benefits all the kids. So that's the hope that I have too, is that teachers will start seeing like, oh, I have to change these things for this one student. And the reality is, when they change it for one student, there are a lot of kids in their class that will also benefit from that new strategy. Kathy says, yes, she loves Paula Cluth. We'll definitely get that book. Thank you. Yeah, and I'll give you the link for the show. It was pretty hilarious. We had lots of props that we were using in there, and it was just a really fun thing. And I don't know how to say your name for sure. So if you could tell me the phonetic pronunciation, because I don't want to mispronounce it. But she says, I promise no more questions after this. And that's fine. That's what we're here for. But she said the ESL model for children with intellectual disabilities or disabilities, and how come school districts do not want to support that in IEP for pre-qualified students under ESL, students with disabilities. Wonder if you have any details on that. I don't have as many resources on the tip of my tongue right now about the ESL model, but I know that we can learn so much from each other. And when we look at co-teaching, it doesn't just have to be a special ed teacher and a general ed teacher. It could be an ESL teacher. And for, that's another acronym. You're not sure if it's English student learners. So students that have a primary language other than English. And the hands-on strategies that they use with ESL students can definitely cross over. So one of the things that they did at my son's elementary school was that they cross-trained each other. So they had this resource team of a speech therapist, a gifted and talented teacher, a couple of special ed teachers, the OT, the PT, the principal, the media person. And they would always have these weekly meetings where they cross-trained each other. And so they could then go into general ed classrooms and be a co-teacher and serve the needs of all students that way. So yeah, I definitely think there's ways that we can connect what ESL teachers do and what we can do with our kids being included. English second language, yes. She says, my son was the first child with disability approved for ESL, but no consistency of services, only consult services. Yeah, and generally I say when I see in an IEP that it's going to be indirect services or consultative services, that to me is, I'll pull my prop out here, a red flag. And you want to be really careful because so many times when somebody's services are written as consultative, that means like they might bop in every once in a while, or when the teacher's having lunch, they'll bop in the lounge and say, how are things going? Good? Okay, great. But this meeting that I was at the other day for this little guy in kindergarten, I was like so ecstatic because the PT and the OT were talking about doing more collaborative consultative services with the teachers and with the paras so that they could use those strategies throughout the week instead of just having the OT come in once a week and do some things in the classroom, or instead of having the PT go on the playground and work on some gross motor things. They are now doing a collaborative consultative model that really is collaborative, that's really consultative. They still come in the building. They still have time where they sit down with the staff and talk about things. So that is like the way it needs to be, right? And it's so encouraging when I see schools starting to embrace that. So yes, there's a ways that we still have to go, right? I mean, we know that the work is still there for us to do. Diana says, I should bring a red flag to my next meeting. I know. You could just this would be your subtle way of calling out things. You could just kind of wave your red flag. Stop. Let's talk about this. Yes. So not only do props kind of break the ice, but they also can be the subtle way of making a point, right? And she says that she loves that idea. Yes. So you can, I think I got this at a party store. So yeah, like for kids that have, I don't know, car birthday parties or something. So you never know. The other, speaking of props, the other one that I like a lot are these big scissors. And I got this idea from Paula Cluth when she was on our show. She has some scissors, and I think of them, I don't know, cutting out the BS or cutting the red tape. So you never know what you'll find at a party store that you could actually use as an advocacy tool when you go to an IEP meeting, right? And Kimberly says, wouldn't the team love that? Yes, we'll see. We'll see who has a good sense of humor, right? But I did want to thank you for being here today. Like I said, look for a Facebook post tomorrow, Friday, and one on Saturday. And I'll be asking a question, and there's no right or wrong answer. And if you're one of the first 5 people to enter, you will get 5 extra entries. Everybody that answers gets another entry. So you just increase your odds, increase your chances of winning a 100-minute phone consultation with me. So if you want to enter, make sure you type in the word 100. And I have this cute little call to action I can show you. So type in the number 100 in the comments for a chance to win. And besides the 100-minute consultation with me, you'll also get a chance to win a book. And so remind me, in a couple minutes, I'm going to scroll through the people that are here, and we're going to give one book away today. The other fun thing that you can try to win is the Iep Prep mug. Get some caffeine before you go to the meeting. And then Terry's favorite one, the adult glass that says Iep Recovery. So yeah, we'll just have some fun things to do to celebrate you guys. And I'm going to show you a couple more slides, and then we are going to draw a name. The other thing I was going to tell you is I do work with families one-on-one. So if you're interested in that, you can always get in touch with me. But I want us to kind of end the show just thinking about the focus is going to be always on our child. So yes, we're going to have times where, where it's like really frustrating and, we're kind of at our wits' end. But I always want us to bring that IEP team back to the focus is on the child, right? And this is a picture. So is it like, it might be exactly 30 years ago. So when Dylan was born, he was in the NICU unit. So some of you might have had that same experience, right? So focusing on our kids, also focusing on their education and their relationships with others. And this is Dylan's high school graduation picture where he was with a couple of his best friends from high school. So those relationships, that education, that diploma, all of those things are important for our kids. So today and every day, I want you to celebrate your kid, right? Celebrate your child. Celebrate their strengths. Celebrate their disabilities. Because you know what? Their disabilities are a wonderful part of who they are. And this is something that I think we need to kind of turn the spotlight on sometimes. We don't want our kids to feel shamed and embarrassed because of their disability. Their disability is part of who that unique, wonderful kid is. And that's part of that whole child that we really want to make sure that we're celebrating. So the other thing is I want you to keep on keeping on being that parent. Because when you are that parent, then we will make change. We will make change not only for your child, but we will make change for so many other kids coming down that path after us. So thank you so much for being here. I just loved being able to interact with you guys. I love that you were here with us. So the important thing is to continue on with those discussions, to have the friendships, the relationships, the emotions, and their thoughts in the process. And making sure that our kids' voice is always heard. That's a whole nother soapbox that I can get on. But I think it's critical that our kids go to their own meetings. And I've got a blog post about that. If you'd like, I can share, because Dylan went to his first IEP meeting at age 3, and he continued to go to his IEP meetings. And it all evolved as far as what his input was like. But it really is important. And it, besides talking about the strengths of our kids at the beginning of a meeting, if we talk about those positive things that our child likes about school, ask them questions who their friends are, get their voice in the room. That makes a huge difference in the tone of the meeting too. So that's all little seeds that I'm planting that you could be looking at. And Lissa says, I'm definitely that parent. And that's good, Lissa. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know that your son appreciates that too, right? So thank you all again for being here. If you would like, put it on your calendar, because each Thursday at noon Mountain Time, we are here for a live show. If you want to get my weekly blog posts that talk about the live show, give you I have to show you again, the key takeaways and things like that from the show, let me know and I'll sign you up. And I just want to say thank you again for everything that you do for your child, because you're not only making a difference for your child, but for every other child. So until next Thursday at noon Mountain Time, I shall see you, and keep on keeping on. Bye-bye.